What is up everyone, Movie back again with another video, and today is going to be another top 10 for 2022, and this is my top 10 movie moments of the year. It's been a great year for movies. There's been so many films, so many great ones, so many bad ones, but here I'm going to go through the greatest moments that happened in all of these films. Now, I spoke to a lot of people on Twitter about what their thoughts were, and it gave me some food for thought myself, and I think I've come up with a pretty solid list here. Now, there are going to be spoilers in this video, so what I'm going to do when I talk about them is put a timestamp in the description for each moment I start one of them movie moments. So if you come across a movie that I'm about to talk about and you don't want to know, just go down below, pause the video and go to the next one. Also, I've got a lot of honourable mentions here, but I'm going to spend about 3 seconds on each one because I'm just going to go through them really quickly. I just want to acknowledge these moments and try and do them as spoiler-free as possible. So let's just get into the honourable mentions really quickly now. So for the honourable mentions, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, the tank scene coming towards Paul and his friends, The Watcher, where a certain person waves back at our main character, The Black Phone, where the grabber is waiting at the top of the stairs for a young child, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, where Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage are just paranoid running around the city, Brian and Charles, where he gets out his punching invention towards the end of the film, Doctor Strange, the multiverse jump sequence, which was great to look at, Day Shift, not one of my favourite films of the year, but the vampire nest fight was awesome, Texas Chainsaw Massacre decapitation scene, Men with the naked stalker, which was really creepy moment, Jurassic Park Dominion, again, not a great film, but the Velociraptor chase was awesome, Sonic 2, where Sonic turns into Super Sonic, Glass Onion, where a certain character figures out the game very early on, and The Banshees of Inisherin, where Colin Farrell goes on a big rant in a bar. So they are the honourable mentions, guys. A lot of input was from people on Twitter there as well, who helped me along making this video, so thank you so much. Let's just get into it now with the top 10 best movie moments of 2022, starting, of course, at number 10. Number 10 is going to be the basement walk scene in Barbarian. Now, this film, I didn't love as much as everyone else, but this moment, man, it creeped me the hell out. This follows Georgina Campbell's character, who is spending the night with Bill Skarsgård's character. There's been a little bit of a mix-up on the travel agency website, and Bill Skarsgård, being the gentleman he is, says, look, you can have the bed, and we'll sort it all out in the morning. I'll sleep on the couch. And then in this house that neither of them live in, and Bill Skarsgård's character decides to check out this mysterious little dungeon type deal in the basement. And Georgina Campbell's character can't get hold of him. She's shouting him and stuff. And she decides to go down these stairs. And Bill Skarsgård, who I believe his name is Keith in this movie, just isn't answering back or anything. And she is going down these stairs, but the scene is built up for about 10 minutes, and you don't quite know what's about to happen. And the further down she gets, the more intense it gets. And I was watching this with my wife, and honestly, I don't get scared with movies, hardly ever. But I looked at her, and she'd fell asleep, and I was just felt so alone, and I was watching it going, holy shit, what is going to happen here? I can't take this. It really scared me, and the scariest movie moment of the year for me easily, and creeped me the hell out. So well directed the way this was done, and just a bunch of suspense building up inside you. So number 10 is the basement stairwalk in Barbarian. Number 9 is going to be the suicide course in The Menu. Now, this is one of my favourite films of the year, but all these guests are invited to this island for Ralph Fiennes' big menu that he's got planned. And he is a very sinister chef, a very strange chef, with a bunch of chefs who sort of follow him like a cult, basically. And the night's already getting a little bit weird. At one point, the guests are served this plate with just sauces on. It's like, what are you meant to do with that? You know, just a bunch of sauces on a plate. Something's just not quite right, especially Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who's just getting onto it. And at one course, Julian pulls out one of his chefs. Julian is played by Ralph Fiennes. He pulls out one of his chefs and he just says, this guy aspires to greatness, but he'll never be great. And then this chef just blows his own brains out. And all the characters in the movie gasp, and I was just like that along with them in the cinema. I couldn't quite believe it. It was a what the fuck moment. And from there on, the movie just got weirder and weirder. But that moment was where the movie turned, and I was like, holy shit, we're in for a ride here. So number 9 is the suicide course in the menu. Number 8 is going to be Pearl. Now, there was a couple of moments in this movie that I could have talked about. But like I said at the start of the video, I'm only just sticking to one scene per movie. I'm not going to include 3 or 4 scenes from the same film. Now, there's a monologue scene in this film that Mia Goth goes on, but I'm going to go with the end credit scene here because I'd never seen anything quite like it. That monologue scene is awesome. She didn't even blink during that. I was like, oh, that was incredible acting. But when her husband comes home from the war and she's just stood there after sort of murdering all these people, and she just goes, you're home. And like 2 minutes later, she's still like... I just thought, you know what, man, that is absolute genius. One of the best end credit sequences you'll ever see. Mia Goth is just one of my favourite actresses working today. Can't wait to see Infinity Pool with her coming next year. But the faces that she can pull, she's just got this unique look about her. You know, great expressions, and this is the best face she has ever pulled. I imagine her cheeks were absolutely hurting so hard after doing this scene. And I think it was improvised, I read. I mean, she just done it and then didn't cut away, and then they just went with this, which is just an awesome little fact. But great follow-up to X, or prequel if you like. Mia Goth put such a good performance in here, and this was possibly my favourite part of the entire film. So number 8 is the smile end credit scene from Pearl. Number 7 is going to be the ending scene from Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Now, I highly suggest that you do click this timestamp past this one if you have not seen this film, because I'm going to ruin the entire ending here. But all the way through this movie, where people are dying and bodies are just piling up, hence the name Bodies, 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 I was just scratching my head thinking, what can possibly going on here? Who is behind these killings? The movie, as it gets towards the end of the runtime, just pushes and pushes and pushes. You suspect everyone. You understand that all of them could be innocent. And it's just closing and closing, closing smaller as the bodies start to pile up, and there's only like 2 characters left. And then they just pick up this guy's phone, Pete Davidson's character, and they see that it all started by him cutting his own neck, and it just explains the entire runtime in that one little shot there. And I was like, bravo, that is so clever. And it just tricked the entire audience. I don't think anyone's seen it coming. I couldn't have predicted that in a million years. But it just explained the entire movie in a few seconds there. So what a great ending to such a fun film, really. So number 7 is the climax of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Number 6 is going to be the bedroom kill in Terrifier 2. Now, I've seen my fair share of slasher films. The first Terrifier, you know, had one of the best and most gruesome death scenes I've ever seen, so I was kind of prepared for Terrifier 2. However, I didn't see this coming in a million years. This felt like a mini torture scene. Art the Clown just absolutely just going batshit crazy on this helpless victim here. He does all sorts to this girl, and I think it's about a 5-minute scene, but it seems like half an hour, honestly. I was watching it going, oh my god, Art, please stop. So he will do something to this girl and then really, really put it in a bad way. And then he'll come back for seconds, and then you think it's over, and next minute the guy's running in, pouring fucking salt all over it. I mean, he's just a complete bastard in this scene. But great practical effects, you know. I really dug what they were doing here. Damien Leone really got this scene down to a T. So much bloody gore, arms are being snapped, the girl's being scalped. and she's just helpless and left on the brink of death, and Art the Clown is still fucking laying into it. I thought it was one of probably the best kill scene of the entire year. Yeah, I mean, Art the Clown is just such an awesome character, and this scene shows exactly why. So, number 6 is the bedroom kill scene in Terrifier 2. Number 5 is from a film that I could have included a ton of scenes from, and that is The Batman, but I'm going to go with the opening narration from Robert Pattinson here. I love the fact that the movie shows that he's already a year and a half into his Batman career, basically, and he is narrating, that he is the fear of the criminals in Gotham, and you just see, this criminal rob a shop, and he's got all these goodies that he's robbed, and he looks up and sees the bat sign and goes, and then Robert Pattinson's just narrating with the score in the background, and then he appears as Batman and just takes out all these bad guys. I mean, that is just an awesome setup for our new Batman played by Pattinson there. So well shot. Again, the soundtrack, the music, all just goes together and just accumulates this perfectly narrated scene. So I have to go with the opening of Batman there. I could have picked the car chase. That was a close second, but this is the scene that made the hair stand up on my back because I was so anticipating this film, and I knew 10 minutes in I was in for a thrill ride with this. So number 5 is Robert Pattinson's open narration as Batman in The Batman. Number 4 is going to be Top Gun Mavericks. Sort of training mission, if you like. Now, this is where Tom Cruise is kind of trying to... John Hamm sort of doesn't want him to teach these kids no more how to do this mission. And he's violated a few codes, I believe, or something along the lines like that. And then all these kids, these students, of Top Gun, sort of going to have to learn another way. And then Tom Cruise just shows them how the mission is done, perfectly in the time, because they're building up towards the end to do this crazy ass mission, basically, that seems impossible. It is something like out of Mission Impossible, and Tom Cruise shows them all that they can do it. None of them kind of believe in themselves, and he does it, man, and it's just so good to watch, and they start to believe in themselves that they can actually do it after seeing him do it. He's proved that it's possible, and I was just watching it going, man, Tom Cruise is the fucking man. Again, another film I could have picked so many scenes from. You could pick anything out of the last 40 minutes there. But this was the part that kind of stood out to me and the bit I enjoyed the most out the entire film. So number 4 is the training sequence in Top Gun Maverick. Number 3 is going to be the opening of Athena. This is a film I only watched recently, and I'd heard rumblings that the start of this film was awesome, and my god, it was absolutely fucking incredible. I could not believe how the director had filmed this in one shot. There is so much going on. It had to be so perfectly choreographed. All these actors to do what they did. And this is basically about a bunch of people who are fed up with the police brutality and stuff. And something happens, a person is killed or a kid is killed, and that's it now. And they go and raid this police station and decide to make a mockery of the police, basically. They get in there, rob all their weapons, rob this safe that they're after. But it's all just so intense. The music is awesome. All the action scenes where people are just kicking ass are going on. The camera just follows our main guy around this police station, as they sort of take back what they believe is theirs. And I was just watching it just in amazement. And when they finally escape the police station as well, I mean, it's the cameras following them escaping in the vehicles and stuff like that. The characters shooting out the van and stuff that they just escaped from. I was just like, oh my god, this is excellent filmmaking. The rest of the film is done in so many one-shot sequences as well, but the start of it, this movie, is where it's all at. I mean, if you don't believe me, you spare 10 minutes and just go and watch the first 10 minutes of this movie and you'll be blown away, trust me. So number 3 is the opening of Athena. Number 2 is going to be the village raid in The Northman. Now, we don't quite know what Alexander Skarsgård's character is all about and this little clan that he's joined, but I think the scene tells you everything, that this is just a dog-eat-dog world that he's living in here. And my god, from that first spear throw at the guy in the top of the village, and they all storm the village, and it's all done in a one-shot sequence. I was watching this at the cinema, and it was one of the best moments I've ever had in my life at the big screen. I just I was just amazed at the level of filmmaking here, kind of like Athena with the one-shot take, and all the stuff going on in this one-shot sequence was just unbelievable to me. And then when they finally get in the village, Alexander Skarsgård just kicking ass with these like axes that he's got in each hand, and there's just characters just really going at one another. So many violent moments, so many upsetting scenes as well. I mean, there's a tough situation involving some kids and babies there, but that's not the reason I love the scene or anything, but it just shows the brutality of this scene, the violence that is ensuing in it, and the kick-ass action, and Alexander Skarsgård just owning the screen here. So I was just blown away by this sequence in The Northman, and what a great film as well. So number 2 is The Village Raid in The Northman. Number 1, though, is going to be the dance sequence, Nacho Nacho, I believe it's called, in RRR. Now, this is a movie where I could have picked 6 or 7 scenes from to fill this video easily, but like I said, I'm just sticking to one scene from each movie because I didn't want to clog the whole video up with the same scene, with the same movie scenes. But my God, when this kicked in, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was already an hour into the movie. I was already blown away. I was like, wow, this movie is just amazing. It's on course to be one of my favourite films of the year. And when this happened, I was like, oh my God, they've even thrown that in there as well. And it totally works. Basically, they are being mocked by these rich people, these two, sort of guys who have a bromance going in this movie. They're like best friends. And they're being mocked by these people who say they can't dance or whatever. And next minute, a drum is beat by one of the main characters, and they get into this rhythm and start doing this crazy dance with everyone cheering them on, and you are just cheering at the screen going, come on, show that motherfucker who's boss. And then the rich guy who's sort of mocking him sort of gets involved with the dance, and it becomes this big dance-off. And they sort of knock him to the ground because he's had enough. And one of these main characters is kind of falling for this girl who's watching, and she's just watching in amazement. And what really pulls this scene off for me is he is the ultimate wingman and falls down on purpose to let his friend, let this woman be impressed by his friend. And I'm just like, wow, you are such a good guy there. What a wingman you are. But you know what? I've never wanted to learn to dance ever, really, in my life. But I watched this scene, and all I could think of is, I would fucking love to dance like that. It was just absolutely incredible. In a scene filled with so many great moments, this was moment of the year for me. I mean, I absolutely adore this movie. The first film I ever give a 10 out of 10 to on this channel, and this scene helped that massively. Absolutely amazing, so well choreographed, just such a fun 2 or 3 minutes to watch. It was incredible stuff. So number 1 is the dance Nacho Nacho scene from RRR. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this top 10 movie moments of 2022. Is there any I missed that will be on your list? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm sorry if I missed some off that probably should have been in here, but I've seen 125 movies this year, and I really have delved into this as much as I can, and I thought I pulled up a solid list. But let me know what your favourite movie moments are. Do you agree with my list? Do you not agree? What did you think of these moments? And I'll try and get back to you all, I promise. So thanks so much, guys. If you want more top 10s, they'll be down below as well. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you like this content for more videos coming soon. Thanks so much, guys. Take it all easy. I'll see you all in the next video.